Good evening. I hope you've had a lovely day today. I've just read today's text, which is the one whom Jehovah loves, he reproves. Now this sounds, doesn't it? Quite disciplined. But then it does go on to say, as parents, when your child does something like that might be dangerous, it doesn't have to always be naughty, it can just be dangerous to their safety. You have to be firm with them, to guide them, to show them that it's not what they're allowed to do. And sometimes they might be too young to understand why they can't or mustn't do these things. And that's the same with us, even as adults. It doesn't have to be children, it can be adults. Sometimes you think you're doing something that may be harmless. But you see, Jehovah, as a parent, as a child, they can see the bigger picture. While the Jehovah's the same. He's our parent, our God, and he can see the bigger picture, so he can see the dangers. And this is why he gives us all this counselling in the scriptures, because all scriptures are inspired by God. So it goes on to say, that parents are also imperfect, but making mistakes is part of a learning process. So when we are corrected, why not look for the wisdom in what is being said? Having wisdom is better than having silver is gain, or having as produce than gold itself. And of course parents make mistakes, but Jehovah doesn't, and that's the beauty. And if we take his guidance whole-souled, then he will take us on the right path to righteousness, which means to the way he knows we should walk, the way our hearts will rejoice. If you look at the world today, where there's so much evil going on around the world and so much confusion, it is as Jesus said, there is no natural affection these days. The social networking is a wonderful thing, but you get your bullies on there, don't you? If somebody puts a page up, say their son has committed suicide or daughter, they put a page up in remembrance of that child, and then they get these people on marking, adding moustaches to their faces and just saying, they deserve to die, and the evil of it and the pointlessness of it. And these people don't necessarily know who it was that died anyway. And the parents see that when they go back on the page, thinking that they would have friends, showing their love and remembrance. And they've got this abuse going on, No natural affection, none at all. So, we need to be disciplined, especially in this day and age, because we could end up running with the wolves and just being damn out of order, Sorry, I said damn, but it really, I'm so passionate about love that there is not a lot of it in this world, and it's sad to say that, it really is. But when you do find it, it's like, hold on to it, and it comes from God, So it goes on about discipline, because Proverbs, a lot of it was written, if not all of it, was written by Solomon. And there's a proverb that I want to clear up, and that's in, sorry, bear with me. That's Proverbs, where are you? 13, and it's verse 24, and it says, the one holding back his rod is hating his son. Okay, let's just leave it. The one holding back his rod is hating his son. Now then, I suppose if you're anything like I was, you'll be thinking that holding back the rod, means to not hit the child with the rod. Yeah? Because if you did, you won't be the first one and you won't be the last one. But what I'll do now is I'll clear that up for you, okay? Because a rod, back then, when this was written, what it actually meant was they had two words for a shepherd's rod or a shepherd's staff. Now then, if you know anything about farming, you'll know why a shepherd uses a staff or rod. I'm just going to read just a little bit about the translation of rod. It says the Hebrew words shevet or meta are frequently translated to rod and staff. Shevet has the meaning of a staff, stick or rod for support, and is also rendered crook as a shepherd's crook or staff, Leviticus 27:32. Possibly because tribal chieftains carried a staff or scepter, shevet and meta both also designated a tribe and are also translated. The shaft of a spear or like weapon was designated by Hebrew words. So let's go back to the beginning. The Hebrew word shevet and meta are frequently translated rod and staff. So that is a shepherd's crook. Now, shepherds used to carry these, as it said, not only to support them whilst walking over the mountains and very rocky, terrain, because as you know, it is very mountainous regions over there, and sheep, they thrive in that sort of environment. So they used to use the rod or the staff to guide their sheep, like a shepherd uses a dog, They used to stretch their hands out with the rod and to guide their sheep from straying off from the flock. And why it had a hook on it is if the sheep was to stray and fall into a ditch, the shepherd was able to get the hook it round its neck and pull it out and save it from disaster. So this is what a rod is. So when you see rod in the Bible, it doesn't mean spare the rod to not discipline it in hitting them. It means to guide the child, because discipline, it comes from the word disciple, and disciple means learner. So to discipline, it's to learn, it's to teach. So this is why it says not to hold your hand back from discipline. I've lost today's text, just bear with me a second. Right, so, and Jehovah, he has to reprove us. Because of our sinful tendencies, we are like sheep and we stray on self-will, and we end up getting ourselves in all sorts of pickles. So, Jehovah can't just step in willy-nilly every time something goes wrong. Oh dear Jehovah, please help me because now I've messed up again. He's not a God to be mocked. He's not a God to be mocked. So some of the discipline, all the discipline we bring on to ourselves, and that's because we're running on self-will, we're doing our own will, and we're running amok, and we end up doing things that Jehovah warns us not to, because he knows what's best for us. He created us. He knows all the generations right back to Adam and Eve. He knows our intimate souls, our kidneys. He sees into our heart. He knows us individually. He knows how many hairs are on our head. So he knows, of course, he'll know what's good for us. So he's a loving God, remember. And, when you think the words reprove or rod, look them up, get a deeper meaning of it, because some people listen to the church, and this is where the church deceives us and says, that you were burning hellfire and God is not, patient and everything. And, they used to thrive on that because people used to fear the church because of these things they used to say about God, which was all lies, So, well, thank you for listening to me, and I hope that I've made some sense. And, again, as we all know, if we think about it and reason on it properly, when we are disciplined, it's normally, if it comes from a loving heart, it's because they love us, not because they want to belittle us. And that's what Jehovah is, a God of love. So when he disciplines us, it's because he wants the best for us. So thank you for listening, and I do love you all, and I do hope that you get some clarity with these scriptures and take on board what Jehovah and who Jehovah is. And I love you all, and take care of yourself. And until the next time, bye.